internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human being creation Miss Couture. In today's episode of In the Dye Pan, well, how can I say this? Sometimes you change your mind midway through something. So today I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I think and my train of thought sometimes when it comes to creating a color and how sometimes you have already a plan in mind, and sometimes when you actually see the colors and how it's being affected by the yarn and all of that, you just change your mind. And you know what? It's okay to change your mind from time to time. Most of the time I go either with a full idea fledged in my brain, and sometimes I just go, especially with my leave no dye, I'll just go with the creative flow and how I feel that day. So this very specific video is really about, I had a plan and I changed my mind, and that's okay, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So let's get into the video. So today I'm going to be using my classic sock weight yarn, so it's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. It has been pre-soaking in water mixed with citric acid for overnight. I forgot about it, so I'm adding citric acid in my pan, and I will be adding 2.5 cups of tap water into this pan as well. And after that I will be laying my 2 skeins into my half pan. Also worth noting, I've already turned on the heat on my pan, so that way the water can start to warm up slowly but surely. So I will be laying this nicely and tidy here. And what I was going for in this was to work speckles. I wanted to do one side speckles, let it sit for like 15-20 minutes, and then I was going to flip it and speckle the other side as well. But you will see that I've changed my mind halfway through this. So I'm using Plum Dandy and True Black from Dharma dyes. There will be a link in the description box below if you're interested in purchasing their acid dyes. And if you're new here, one of the things that I do usually is that I have cups of hot water next to me when I'm speckling, so that way I can use that hot water to clean off my gloves, and that usually creates a stock solution of very pastel colors, and I usually use those stock solutions in Leave No Dye videos, simply because I refuse to waste all of that because I'm a small business owner. It's not that expensive to purchase dyes, but at the same time, do you really want to waste all of it? So what happened in this situation is that as I was speckling, I noticed the color of the Plum Dandy in the hot water that I was creating with my gloved hands, and I was thinking that it was a very nice color, and I got really curious as to what it would look like on the yarn. So what I did is I flipped the 2 skeins that I have in my pan as I would normally do with my initial plan, but I've noticed also that there was a lot of spread this time, and I think it's just me who placed the yarn weird in the pan this time. So I figured, why not flip it but also add that stock solution that was created from me cleaning up my gloved hands. So that's what I did here, because as I was checking and making sure that everything was absorbed, I was noticing that there was a lot of pockets of dye, so I feel like I probably used I was a little too generous while I was pinching in the containers to get the dyes. So you can see that it's pretty absorbed, which is fantastic. It's always what we want to see when we're speckling. And you can see that there's barely any water in the bottom of the pan, which is not something that like I'm very comfortable with. And it was another way, like me adding that stock solution that was created was another way to add liquid so that the like we would burn the yarn. And you can see that the plum dandy has spread a little bit more than what I was expecting or wanting to. So sometimes all you gotta do is just change your plan. Yeah, spread a whole lot more. So I didn't leave the the acid dyes long enough. I should have waited maybe like 30 minutes instead of 15 to 20 minutes. So let's add this. It's very interesting how this plum dandy looks like a almost an orangey color, and when it's on the yarn it looks much more pink, almost burgundy, which is very interesting. And I'm very already happy with how it's turning out. And I will be speckling that side the same way I did on the first side, so that way it's going to be very interesting. So I will be applying the dry powder on the skeins, and after that we will be leaving it on the stovetop for 15 to 20 at least a half an hour to make sure that the color has stuck to the yarn. And then after the 30 minutes we will be turning off the heat, and then after that we will wait for at least 45 minutes to make sure that the dye has fed into the skeins and everything is good. And once it has cooled off completely, we will be we will wash the skeins in the sink. So we will see you most likely tomorrow because that's how I rule here. So it's the next day and we will be cleaning those skeins that we've done yesterday. There was barely any hint of color in the dye bath, which is fantastic, especially considering that we were speckling and sometimes there's little clumps of dry powder that will have a tendency to just stuck together, and that's when you think that your yarn is bleeding, but it's not actually bleeding. You can already see barely any hint of pink into the stink either, so that's always good to see. We're still going to do a few rinse off just to make sure that we've removed all those little clumps of speckles that could have happened. And after that we will put that in the spin dryer and have it dry for 24 to 36 hours. It's winter here, so usually it takes a little longer for me to make sure that it's all fully dried, simply because I don't know if it's cold because my basement is cold, or if it's cold because it's still slightly damp. First world problem, am I right? So we will see you in 24 to 36 hours with the final result. And here's your finished yarn, and it is very interesting, the result, because we have so many subtle hues of pinks in the background that we've created, but we still have those negative space with white yarn, and we have those speckles that we were able to create, and there was a little spread of this, so it's very creating something unique, and that's for sure. And I really like it. So sometimes you just have to follow your instinct and just do whatever you think works at the moment and see how it turns out. I do understand that it's not everyone who has the monetary capacity to do that. So that's why there's people like me on the internet I will do whatever and try to see how things turns out. So I really appreciate you if you've watched this video so far. So if you've liked it, it would be very nice to consider liking, sharing the video, and if you want to follow along the journey, you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel. And with that, I will see you in next video very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.